Alex Traiman is with us now from Jerusalem. He's the CEO of the Jewish News Syndicate. Alex, welcome to you. Is there any way that Jordan and Egypt accept some sort of deal to take in Palestinians?
Marni, I think there is a way. The United States has tremendous leverage over both Jordan and Egypt. King Abdullah receives over $1.5 billion in foreign aid from the United States and gets additional millions of dollars in undisclosed sums to its intelligence agencies via the CIA. And we have already seen that the president has frozen foreign aid to all countries so far, except for Israel and Egypt. And I believe that Trump can threaten to withhold this aid if Jordan does not agree to take in Palestinians. And it should be noted that more than half of the citizens of Jordan are Palestinian.
So how much of today's discussion and negotiation will they, if they agree to take in any of the Palestinians, how much say they'd get in what happens next in Gaza?
Well, that's really up to President Trump. We don't know exactly what his plan is, and there's been differences between what President Trump has said, and he said as recently as yesterday that the resettlement would be permanent, and the Gazans would not get back to go into Gaza, and he is indicating that will be all Gazans that would move out of the Strip. Prime Minister Netanyahu is saying, there's no ethnic cleansing, there's no forced transfer, but rather let's get the gates open and let's give Gazans a choice if they want to leave. Right now, they don't have that choice.
This is a densely populated area that has been war-torn and just destroyed over the last 2 years. How many people are we talking about, and where else might they go in addition to these two countries?
You're talking about estimates of 1.7 to 1.8 million Gazans. The natural place for them to go is directly across the border to the south of Gaza into Egypt. There's also been talk that potentially Saudi Arabia could be a home. But quite frankly, I mean, countries around the world should be willing to open up their countries to resettle some Palestinians. If you look at the war between Russia and Ukraine, over 6 million Ukrainians ran for the borders and have been resettled all over the world, including 30 to 35,000 even in Israel. So the very idea that not one country in the world is willing to take not one single Palestinian out of Gaza, I think is an indication of how little the world actually cares about the Gazan citizens and how they only want to use them as a wedge to delegitimize the Jewish state of Israel.
Well, and you look at borders, I mean, you've got Egypt, but you also have Israel and Lebanon as well.
That's right. Lebanon also, it's a destabilized country right now. Syria also directly to the north. There's many Palestinians living in Syria, but there's not a stable government there as well. There's a lot of different options of where they could go if there's a will to do it. Right now, the Arab League looking like they're united in their opposition to President Trump's plan, but the president seems to be resolute, and we just have to watch and see how this develops over the coming weeks.
He also seems to be growingly frustrated over the ceasefire deal and the hostages and even their conditions as they're being returned. It's a fragile situation. What do you anticipate to come out of today's meeting regarding the hostages and the ceasefire?
Well, I don't know that the president's going to be negotiating the hostage deal with King Abdullah, but I think the president is realizing that he and his envoy, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, have helped to push forward the negotiation of what they now recognize is a very bad deal. And the only reason why this deal had this, what Trump calls the drip drab release of hostages over a 6-week period, is because the Biden administration that presented this deal back in May wanted to guarantee that Israel would maintain a ceasefire for a period of at least 6 weeks. And if all the hostages had come out immediately, then Israel would not have an incentive to hold the ceasefire for 6 weeks. We see now that the president is indicating that if the hostages are not out, all of them, by this Saturday, and we really don't know how many living hostages are left, that he may give Israel a green light to violate that ceasefire and to remove Hamas from the Gaza Strip in its entirety.
Yeah, I think all hell to pay was the term. Alex Traiman, thank you. We'll be watching this closely today. Appreciate it as always.